Thank you very much, and good evening to all of you, and thank you very much for joining us today. I will take you through the element of a business plan, and I have to tell you that when I had to write my first business plan, I was sweating buckets. In school, my worst marks were in writing essays. Give me a blank piece of paper and tell me to write something, I sweat. I don't even know which way to start. So I'm going to try to help you here in how to go about the business plan. Starting with entrepreneurs, we believe that business plans are written only by entrepreneurs. I want to tell you, entrepreneurs are not the only ones that actually write it. We call it differently, but you have your family plan, you have your financial plan. When you plan to buy something, you always try to rationalize it. So either mentally or in writing, you actually develop a business plan. Because you want to be able to answer questions when asked about why are you doing this. Entrepreneurs, as you can see here, are not born. Neither do leaders. Some of them, and very few, are born and have the skill set. So the skills of an entrepreneur and the skills of a leader are actually acquired throughout your lifetime. And therefore, every one of us can be a leader. Every one of us can be an entrepreneur. This slide, really the point I would like to highlight here is why bother? Why bother writing a business plan? It's interesting because if you meet another colleague or another entrepreneur, you will be asked the question, what do you do? So you're going to start answering, well, I'm in this business and I do this. And what is your product? And you start describing your product. And who are your clients? What market are you in? How are you pricing it? How are you positioning it? How are you selling it? Are you making any money with it? So as you can see, I'm asking multiple questions. Well, many people don't know how to ask all these questions. And they are not structured enough to ask all these questions. But these answers are very important for them to make a decision in your favor. So therefore, they have learned to ask very simply, can I have a copy of your business plan? So your business plan is structured in such a manner that in one word, they ask all these questions at once, and at once you can answer all of them. The business plan, therefore, is perceived to be, most of the time, for other people. Along the way, I always thought that, well, I have to write this business plan because I have to go and see my banker and I need money and he's going to ask me for this. I learned a big lesson once when I showed up to rent facilities for my manufacturing plants, and the landlord says, who are you? What are you doing? So he started asking questions. He says, you know what, forget it. Do you have a business plan? Why would my landlord care about my business plan? Well, the reason why is because in the business plan, it will tell you which industry you're in, how many people, and what type of people, what type of skills you're going to bring in, which type of products or services you're going to be offering, and therefore they can make a decision themselves if they really want you into the location. And therefore, it's not only bankers, it's not only investors, it's also anything that has to do that will facilitate you to get your business going and growing. So as a result, it's also for you. And the business plan is not a static document. It's a very live document. Therefore, it gives you an opportunity for yourself to crystallize your idea. A business starts always with an idea. The implementation of this idea is what the business is all about. So first, document your idea. Identify your market. And we're going to go through some of the elements. And once you have done that and you're starting operating, what you're going to realize, well, what I thought I could do, I may not have enough funds for it. So you may have to readjust. Or you may have targeted a demographic, let's say 25 years to 35 years, and you see that they may not have the financial means to afford your product or services. So therefore you have to change the demographics. You have to adjust. Business adjusts and recreates itself multiple times during the life cycle of a business. And therefore, that business plan that you wrote is for you to revisit at least once a year and look at what your intentions were and where are you actually and how you're actually operating. So it's very important that you consider it as it's my plan, it's nobody else's plan. If you have any questions or if you have anything that on your mind that you would like to ask, please don't be too silent. Don't share. Don't wait for the end. Raise your hand and ask the questions. I'll be delighted to answer. I must have pressed something that I'm not supposed to. Okay. So what are the elements of the plan? I call the table of content the most valuable part of a business plan. And if I remember my days in school and university, I don't remember anything about the books that I had to study and sweat on. But I do remember the index. Because if I know the index, I know where to go and get the information and the detailed information that I need. And therefore, that's exactly the table of content, is what gives you a structure. It's simple to remember, and you know what are the components. The detail, you can go and get them whenever you need them. There are two things here that I would like to highlight. The first section of a business plan is called executive summary. Interestingly enough, it is the first one, but it is the last one that you actually will write. It's not the first one that you write. And it's the most important part of the business plan. If you don't have a business plan, if you have done nothing about anything of the rest, and you have the executive summary, that is good enough for you. Why? Because that is the document that most investors, bankers will read. Why they will read it? Because a banker, on average, will receive 3, 4, 5 business plans every day. So when you think about the day in the life of a banker, at the end of the month, this banker has received probably tens of these business plans. If he has to read the 15, 20, 30 pages of each one, he was spending his time reading and never doing loans. On top of that, what we may not know, bankers have targets. They are salespeople. They're not bankers. The person that we interface with is our partner. He's on our side. If it was only for him or her, they will give us the money. They will give us all the money because they are paid and incented based on the amount of loans that they make. So they would love to give us. The contentions come inside the bank when there is another department that their job is to make sure that they minimize the risk, and therefore there's contention. So the interface that we have as a banker is our friend. They have targets. And usually the target is about 2 to 3 loans per month. So if they read 40, 50 business plans, they have to really pick 3. So you want to be the one that they would pick, and that's how they do it. They read the executive summary, and they say, first, I would call it a filter. They look, what industry are they in? Is that an industry that our bank wants to finance or wants to lend money to? You pass that scale. What products do they do? Are these products consistent with the image of our bank and what we want? Number 3, what market do they service? Is it a market that is mature, growing, or declining? Why? Because they want to know if they have the ability to get paid. The 4th, they want to know very quickly how much do you need. Why? Because each banker have limits on their first loan. So it's very important, therefore, if you say, I need $1 million, and the banker that you're dealing with has maximum ability of $250,000, he's going to put it aside. Too much for me. Read the next one, read the next one. The last one, they want to know skin in the game. When you go and ask for a loan, They want to know how much have you personally invested in the business. Bankers are not investors. They are lenders. They are lending you money only if they have the conviction that you will be able to pay it back. Investors give you money with the hope of getting more back. So they're risk takers. Bankers are risk adverse. So that's the major difference. And that's the reason why the business plan and the executive summary is the very important document page. It's usually a couple of pages max. Don't make it too long, then they will not read it. And has to. And will contain those elements, which are really paragraph summary from everything else that you would have done in the business plan. So let's look at some of these components. There is one here that I would like to suggest is not always there, the last one, the exit strategy. When you develop a business plan, really nobody wants to know about your exit strategy. What people want to know is about future direction of your business. They want to know that you're not a one-time wonder, that you had an idea, you're going to implement it, and that's it. That's the end of the world. They want to know that you're constantly thinking and you constantly have an opportunity to improve on your company, add product, add markets, add customers, add more opportunity for revenue, grow your business. Businesses can never stand still. A business that stands still fails. A business either grows or declines, but never stands still. And I can tell you, having been an entrepreneur myself in 7 or 8 businesses around the world, I wish I could have stayed still. It was so great. Everything was working well. Every morning was exactly the same thing. I didn't have to even show up at the office. Everything was almost like routine. And money was showing up in the bank. Until one day, I woke up in the morning, and my banker is waiting for me, saying, "Why are you calling your loan? What happened?" He says, "Well, the technology industry you're in, we are very worried about it. It's declining. It's a mature industry. We are not interested in staying in it. You have 30 days to repay the loan." All of a sudden, I realized that I was out of business. So you always have to keep your ears to the ground. You have to be constantly in tune with what's going on in your industry, and always try to update and upgrade. So exit strategies really look at it more as future direction. So how many of you have already written a business plan? How difficult was it?
Very difficult.
What was the most difficult part of a business plan?
Beginning.
Starting, when you have a blank piece of paper. What do I write?
Doing the financial projections.
The financial projections, okay?
This is for the participants.
Forecasting the future, looking at what story I'm going to tell this guy, how compelling can it be to convince this person that I'm for real, that I need to be invested in, that I am going to be there. Telling the compelling story is very important. So as an entrepreneur, the first skill that you have to have is you have to be a salesperson. You have to sell. You are selling from the day you start your business to the day you finish and sell your business. You're always selling. You're either selling your products, or you're selling yourself. You're selling the competencies of your business. So all of those kind of aspects are very, very important. So the description of your business is the first part. And really, it's quite simple. It's usually about where you're located. It's about what you're going to be doing and which industry you're in. This part is important. It's important for you, why? Because I refer to this section as the inverse pyramid. Think about a pyramid upside down. You have to understand the industry you're in order for you to decide if this is an industry which is growing or declining or mature, which means it grows 5% a year or 10%. Within that industry, you're going to select a sector in which you are actually operating. Within that sector, you're going to carve out a niche where you believe you're going to make a difference. You have your product or services that can be differentiated from your competition, and that you will be able to sell successfully and make a difference. So this market part, you think about it in 3 sections: the industry, the sector, and the niche. And then focus on my products and the description of my services providing value added to that niche that they have picked. And everything beyond that from now on is related no more to the industry, but is related to the target market, which is your niche. The human resources part is really more about the people who are involved in your company. When you start a company, sometimes you're starting with a partner, sometimes you start alone, so you're it. So what is really important and has been important for me was first on a piece of paper to write what are my skills in a most open and honest way. There is no one that has all the skills required to succeed in business. So if you hear from anyone that tells you, I'm very successful, I have no weaknesses, I believe that this person is probably either Superman or trying to impress you. There is nobody. We all have weaknesses. So once you identify your weaknesses, each weakness or each skill that is required in your business, this is what you will hear very often: I'm wearing multiple hats. Well, what I used to do, I had hats. And on each hat, I had a label, which was the role that was required in my business, but I couldn't afford. So I was wearing that hat of marketing when I was doing marketing. Then I was wearing sales when I was doing sales. I was wearing CEO when I was dealing with the banks. And then I was wearing financial VP when I had to deal on the financial aspect. So the reason why it's important to have these multiple hats and understand them here is because as soon as you have the ability to hire someone or to participate or to team up with someone, pick the ones that have a skill set that is your weakness. The strength of your business is going to be based on the weakest link of your business, not on the strongest link. So the strength of your business is as strong as the weakest link. So therefore, what you know now, then it gives you a priority also and an understanding of which are the people that I need immediately and the urgency and the time frame by which you need to find them. So when you go, as an example, and try to look for money, you're not looking for money just to develop a product or service. You're looking for money to hire the people that are important for strengthening your business to make it successful. That is, by the way, depending on who you approach for financing and support, that is very important. If you're getting money from friends and family, they know you, and they will give it to you probably, they will lend you the money, already thinking that I'm never going to see it back, but it's based on your personal relationship. The next level, you might go to a banker. The banker may care about you, but really they will look at you more about how is his credit history. Is he a person that usually pays his bill on time? They look at how you manage your personal life as an indicator on how most likely you're going to manage your business. They will look at some of that, but not as important. If you now go to angel investors, which are individuals who will invest money at risk, or venture capital, or mutual funds, that is the first thing they're going to look at. The reason why that's the first thing is, you say, hey, I'm investing money, I expect money back. I want to see the track record of the people who are now managing my money. Because now I'm giving you my money, you are managing it for me. I want to make sure I'm going to get 5 times, 10 times return within 5 years. So this becomes a very important section, and that is actually a section that goes up in the table of content when you deal with these type of people. So the different elements are movable. The operation is giving you only an opportunity to say how I am going to be running the business. How do you want to run the business? What are you going to do first? You're going to develop the product? Are you going to try to select the market? Are you going to be doing pricing? Are you going to be doing advertisement? So it gives you an opportunity to decide how you are going to actually operate the business. And you look at the business operation as such. I'm going to start maybe from my basement because I can save some money. I'm in development phase. Nobody really sees me yet. At this stage, when I finish, I'll get my prototype. Maybe I need to have a physical presence somewhere else. So that's basically how your operation is going to be run. The people, the skill set that you would need. Implementation plan is really more about how you're going to get through the execution. So this is really the roadmap. It's a roadmap with dates, timelines that you need to respect. And you review them on a monthly basis, just to say, I was planning to finish my development by September 30. Where am I? I'm on track? No. What do I need to do to accelerate? Why am I late? If I am late, what implications does it have on the other elements of my implementation plan? And I have to constantly readjust. And sometimes you have to stop, pause, and rethink your business. So that is the most important part. So now that you have done most of the work, now this is the easiest part, because now it's cut and paste. So you don't have to reinvent words. Don't be afraid of using the same word. So you go in the different section, you take what is the most representative of that section, you cut it and paste it in the same sequence that you have developed your business plan. Because we know that it is difficult to start a plan, even for experienced people, what the BDC has done is we have developed a template that you can access on the BDC.ca website. So you go on the BDC.ca website, search for business plan, and what you're going to get is a business plan, which is really more a template. And as I said, the most valuable part is actually the table of content. But why is it helping? It has been developed in such a manner to help you start searching and knowing what you need to write in that section. So there is a question, as an example. In the business, in the business side, how do I describe my business? I will say, what is your address? So you will write your address. Which city are you in? Or which province are you in? I will ask you another question, say, who is your target market? Which industry are you in? So there are questions, and then there is blank space for you to answer those questions. So when you answered all these questions and you've done the research to answer those questions, now close your eye and think about that there were no questions. Cut and paste everything that you have written as answers. That is your initial business plan. Now you read it and build the bridges so it reads smoothly. So that's what we have done to assist businesses. And my colleague Sal is now going to talk to you about the financial section of the business plan that is as important as what business I am in is, am I going to make money and how can I get people to finance me? Because the goal, by the way, let me share it with you, is as an entrepreneur, is not to use your money. Is not to use your family money. Is to use others people's money. So one thing you have to remember from all of this is the business, you run it 180-degree opposite on how you run your personal life. In personal life, your goal in life is to be debt-free as quickly as you can. In business, your goal is to be 100% debt as quickly as you can. And the reason is, I'm making money on others people's money. If something goes wrong, I just drop my keys, I'm a rich person, my money is safe, I go away, and I'm okay. So the goal as an entrepreneur is to start the business. You have to be committed that as you develop your business, try to get as many more people convinced about your ideas and convinced about investing in you and your capabilities, so you can now reduce your personal investment and work with their money. That's the reason why you hear people saying, what is my ultimate goal? I want to go public. What does it really mean, public? It means that everybody in the world will invest and buy my shares. I'm going to work with their money and none of mine. So think about when Nortel went down, there were a lot of us crying. But I can tell you, there were a few people that were extremely happy because they have lost nothing. Their money is safe. So that, if you think about the operators of a public company, that's what it is. So you think about starting as an entrepreneur, you grow, you grow, you grow. You can either sell your company, merge your company, buy more company. You try to grow it up to the point where your goal should be, how can I work with others' people money most of the time?